With the playing of Dublin in the Rare Old Times by Jim Perkins, it's my pleasure to welcome you once again to Bloomsday in Detroit. This is our 26th Bloomsday in Detroit. It's sponsored by the Detroit Irish Cultural Forum and is a production of Jim Perkins. I'm Donald Morse. I've been host for 25 years of these Bloomsday in Detroit, and it's always been a great delight. And now, obviously, I'm not there, unfortunately, in one of our favorite Dublin pubs, but I'm broadcasting from our home in Debrecen, Hungary, way up on the fifth floor. It's a very different vantage point than most Bloomsdays in Detroit. But our function is the same, and that is to celebrate both James Joyce as a most remarkable writer and his great hero, Leopold Bloom. Leopold Bloom, who was Joyce's version of everyman. And therefore, he really does share an awful lot of our concerns, our beliefs, even our values. And when he doesn't, he challenges them. So he's a wonderful fictional person to get to know and to celebrate. Now, Joyce himself, as a writer, is probably the most appropriate writer we should be giving a day to in these strange days of the pandemic, because Joyce was preoccupied by time and space, and suddenly, for us, the last year and a half or so, time and space have changed remarkably. They have become very, very different. Our time is out of joint, as Shakespeare once said. It is suddenly very short or very long. For most of us who really were confined for well over a year, and in my own case for a year and 3 months, 15 months, time stretched. It became quite long. On the other hand, it collapsed because other recent events suddenly receded into the background. They no longer were as important. And Joyce also is our great novelist of space. He understood space in the contemporary world. And I say this knowing that he wrote in the first part of the 20th century. But he celebrated cosmopolitan space, city space, urban space, whatever you want to call it. It is the world of the 20th and the 21st century. And so we come together, unfortunately not in person this time, but we do come together to really experience once again these basic dimensions of our lives. Because after all, our minds move through time as our bodies move through space. So welcome to Bloomsday in Detroit. We'll be celebrating Leopold Bloom. We'll be reading from various Joyce works and from other Irish works, have some Irish music, I hope some stories along the way, and I'll be back a bit later to share with you a couple of my favorite passages from Joyce's great work, and that is the novel Ulysses. Certainly the greatest novel of the 20th century, and at least thus far, also the 21st. But that aside, it's the most wonderful human novel, and we'll get to some of that and we'll celebrate it. So enjoy the music, readings, stories, and I'll see you shortly.